Hey guys, and welcome back to Making My Brother Play Otome Games. I'm Kaylin.
I'm Nathan, and we are ready for round 2 of this car accident.
Woo! Episode 3. So, last episode we ended up meeting the leader of the Shinsengumi, Kondo, or Kondu, as Nathan liked to call him. And we told him why we came to Kyoto, which was to find our father. And he not only...
very shocked about that.
Yeah. He not only agreed not to kill us, but he also offered to help us. So
Turns out that they really like this guy.
Yeah.
Apparently. Really good chums of theirs, I guess. I don't know.
Or something.
Something.
Anyway, so we're not dead. It's a good start.
It's a good start.
Let's go.
All right. Let's keep this ball rolling, I think. So, I never imagined something like this was our last...
Not only had I survived, I had found my first decent lead.
You must be pretty glad we won't be killing you, huh? Well, won't be killing you just now, at any rate.
How comforting, thanks. He gave me that same wolfish grin. There was no denying that my situation was still less than desirable, but at that moment I didn't care. Yes, I'm very glad. Oh, it was also pointed out to me that, since last we recorded, Naomi can actually be a pretty common Japanese name. So, you actually named your character a Japanese name without even meaning to.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Good job. I'd been through a lot, but at last I'd found help, and where I'd never expected it, the Shinsengumi. Kyoto hadn't been kind to me, even though I'd been here less than a day, but it looked as though my fortunes were taking a turn for the better. I still had a long way to go, and I had worries aplenty, but it was important to stay optimistic.
I'd prefer to place you in the custody of the Judiciary Commissioner, or the Aizu, rather than keep you in a house full of men, but...
Kondo let the sentence hang in the air and looked at me, his arms folded. It was clear I had no choice but to stay with the Shinsengumi.
Should you require anything, you need only ask. We will do what we can to accommodate you.
Oh. His expression didn't change, but his words were unexpectedly warm. I looked away from him awkwardly, but I still felt the heat rise in my cheeks. Thank you.
Well, I guess we'll have to be nicer to you now that we know you're a girl. It's like it's a bad thing. It's a girl. You guys have never heard Mulan?
Never heard of Mulan.
You're always nice to the Lady Shin. Sure didn't take long for you to change your tune once you figured out she was a girl, though, huh? Ah, whatever. Having a lady here at the headquarters is sure gonna brighten things up, huh?
I'm not sure I like the sound of that. I wasn't entirely sure that would be the outcome.
Still, we can't hardly treat her as one of our soldiers. Something else must be done with her. Then make her a page or something. You want an assistant, Kondo? How about you, Senan?
He gave a small shrug. Whatever was done with me, it seemed he no longer cared.
Oh, come on, Hijikata. It's your idea. You can't just pawn her off on someone else. Ah, excellent. I believe we can trust Toshi with her.
Kondo's face split into a wide smile, and he slapped his leg in agreement.
Well, there you have it, Hijikata. I hope you'll take good care of her.
Sanen's smile had more than a little of mocking twist to it. Dogs.
Lots of dogs. You sons of bitches.
Are you gonna go take care of the dogs real quick?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay. As I watched their back and forth, some of my earlier relief began to ebb away. What was going to happen to me? Bum bum bum.
February 1864.
I slid the door open, and a breath of cool morning air met me. Clumps of thick clouds trundled silently over the city, an unusually strong wind driving them along. It's cold today. I shivered a bit and grabbed a jacket from near the door to wrap around myself. A week had passed since I'd begun living in the headquarters of the Shinsengumi. They allowed me to roam around the compound as I pleased, and I was given a room of my own. They weren't the best accommodations, but given that they'd very nearly murdered me instead, I thought it best not to complain. Still, I looked down at my feet on the cold floor and sighed. Do I really need to dress like this all the time? They'd
Apparently
given
she
me
does.
a place to live for the time being, but it hadn't been without conditions.
The Shinsengumi will look after you, but we can't have a woman running around our headquarters.
People will talk, after all. As he explained, if rumors were to spread that the Shinsengumi were keeping a woman in their compound, tongues would begin to wag.
Waggle, 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 waggle.
Waggle back and forth. It might even bring the people who were after my father to the Shinsengumi in search of me. Of course, they hadn't been able to determine whether or not he'd even been attacked. There were a great many questions left unanswered. We could ill afford any reckless decisions. Or so Hijikata had told me.
In other words, we need you to keep pretending to be a man. I doubt that's what you wanted to hear, but you do it or you're out on your ass. Clear?
Yes. His reasoning was sound. But perhaps more than that, I knew he was looking out not only for the Shinsengumi, but also for the safety of my father and myself. I didn't have a choice, of course, but knowing that made following his orders at least somewhat more palatable.
I doubt you would do so intentionally, but the presence of a woman could disrupt morale, so to speak.
His tone suggested he was joking, but it was clear that he was telling the truth as well.
For that reason, only we, the Shinsengumi's leadership, will know the truth of your situation.
If word were to get out, there was no telling how fast rumors could spread, or where to. I had to stay a boy. Alright then, what should I do while I'm here?
Nothing. You're gonna get a room, and you're gonna stay in it.
How exciting.
Really? I could have sworn we decided she was going to be someone's page. But now I've really got to wonder, was page actually a thing? Because I could have sworn just off the top of my head that was like a very European thing.
No, there were definitely servants for samurai. And, well, these people aren't necessarily samurai, but they're Ronin, and so they have sort of similar values and systems. And so it wouldn't be unheard of for commanders like these to have pages.
Okay. Alright. I'll call that a good translation then.
Yep. Hijikata turned toward Okita and his eyes narrowed.
Soji, keep your tongue in your mouth or I'll cut the fucking thing off.
Another
Well,
reason why
then.
this game is rated M is because Hijikata can't watch his mouth.
This guy is definitely the epitome of very abrupt and crude.
Yeah, he's very, what I want to say, blunt, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
He really just kind of says what's on his mind.
Yeah.
No matter how insulting it might turn out to be.
Yep. Before long, I'd been there for a week. I guess I don't have much of a choice. I'd prefer otherwise, of course, but I'll do what I have to. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it yet, but since I'd been dressing like a boy, I'd grown rather used to the feel of wearing pants, and of having the kodachi my father had given me always at my hip. That was a long sentence. He presented me with it when I was only a child, and impressed upon me at least some sense of its importance. Supposedly, it had been in the Yukimura family for generations. As such, I was forced to take lessons in swordplay so that I knew which end was meant for the enemy, but I'd never much cared for weapons.
It's actually a really nice looking...
It's a really nice blade, yeah.
It may be an artistic drawing, but still, quite well done.
Yeah. They hurt people, of course, but it was more than that, at least for me. For as far back as I could remember, any wounds I suffered healed at an incredible rate. Small cuts would disappear overnight. As a child, I thought nothing of it, but as I grew older, I began to realize that I was not quite normal. When I asked my father, he told me that it was a gift from the gods, but that I should tell no one of it. I didn't tell anyone, of course. I was afraid they would treat me like a monster if they did. Ever since then, I'd done my best not to get hurt. I stayed as far away from blades as I could, and before I realized it, I was rather afraid of them. Dressing as a man all the time was frustrating, as was carrying a sword, but it was my condition that worried me the most. Still, that wasn't the only thing on my mind. The rank-and-file soldiers had been treating me coldly. I'm not just imagining it, right? I'd heard having a private room was a rare privilege, even for the captains. For a child to appear out of nowhere and be given better treatment than their own captains, it was a little wonder the soldiers resented me. True, I suppose I can't really blame them. Also, quite simply, I felt bad. I was enjoying the hospitality, such as it was, of the Shinsengumi, and so I felt I should help them in some way, but I knew nothing of soldiers and their ways. There wasn't much opportunity for me to learn, either. Hijikata had instructed me to leave my room as little as possible. From time to time, the captains or other officers would send me on one errand or another, but I was nothing approaching a page. Most of the duties they gave me were things more suited for a maid than a soldier, and it made the rest of the men even more resentful for what appeared to be special treatment. They're just watching me. To make sure I kept my mouth shut, they took turns keeping watch over me. My mistakes could mean serious trouble for them, so they were doing their best to keep me away from the other soldiers. Then again, perhaps I was just a poor actor. Their soldiers almost never spoke to me, but when they did, it was difficult for me to act manly. All too often, the captains had to step in to cover for me. She needs to learn from Mulan, right?
Yeah.
Each time they did, it made me look as though I couldn't even manage to speak for myself, and I felt even worse.
She needs to man up.
She needs to man up.
Be a man.
We must be swift as the
coursing
river.
Yeah.
If I'm really going to stay here, I'd like to be friends with at least some of them. But I can't exactly tell them the truth, can I? Indeed, I couldn't, and so I had no choice but to stay out of the way and keep to myself. It wasn't a pleasant existence, and I was beginning to feel depressed. If I'm supposed to stay out of the way, then I shouldn't be leaving my room, but I very much wanted to go look for my father. However, even after a week had passed, I was still not allowed to leave headquarters. I'd come to Kyoto and search my father, but for the time being it seemed that search had been stopped in its tracks. Perhaps I thought I could talk to Hijikata, if he would give me permission to look for my father. Oh, no, that's right. Hijikata had left on a trip to Osaka several days before. Perhaps I can sneak out while he's not here. I wasn't sure what to do. Your third choice.
A third choice. Stay put, talk to someone, or search the compound.
Yep.
Oh, I'm always one for adventure. Let's poke around.
As I thought about that, I realized that I had no idea how the Shinsengumi compound was laid out. If I was to live there, I thought, then I ought to make an effort to learn. I took a deep breath, gathered my courage, and stepped out of the room. There's no one here. I looked around. The hall was utterly empty. Then again, I realized, since I'd snuck out of my room, it was probably for the best that no one had seen me. Still, I felt a little guilty about it. Perhaps I should have just stayed in my room. If I wandered around the compound, there was a good chance I'd see something I wasn't supposed to. I'd already stumbled onto one of the Shinsengumi secrets the night I met them. I had no wish to do so again.
Even though she's not entirely sure what that secret really was.
Not really, no, they haven't told us.
But apparently it was so big that
it was important.
Worthy of potentially killing us over.
Yep.
Just saying.
I suppose it's better to know than be ignorant, but I'd promised to forget what I'd seen that night. What should I do? After some deliberation, I decided it was best to return to my room, but as I turned to walk back... Huh? From somewhere near the entrance, I heard something.
Dun dun dun.
Bomb! But what? Slowly, I looked around the corner. Walking toward the door, looking as if they would really prefer not to be seen, were Harada and Nagakura. Oh.
What? Question mark, exclamation point.
Can I come with you? Maybe if they let me go outside, I could finally start looking for my father.
Well, I don't really care, but I don't think you're gonna have a lot of fun. Hey, no, you idiot! We can't take her! And you don't have the authority to give her permission to leave anyway!
He poked hard in the chest as he spoke, but there was something almost nervous in his manner.
All right. We aren't supposed to let you out of the house, huh? They don't even let you out of your room without an escort.
Well, where are you going anyway?
No changing the subject. Oh well, whatever. We're on our way to Shimabara?
That's what he said.
Okay. If you really want to know, and our encyclopedia has been updated.
So it has. Shimabara? The name was familiar. Wait, that's in the red light district, isn't it?
Oh boy.
No wonder you didn't want to take me. Nagakura looked back and forth between us and sighed.
Come on, what you're doing, telling a girl the truth about us going to Shimabara. You know me. I can't lie. Besides, it's not like we're going to be doing anything bad. Depends on what you define as bad now, doesn't it? Not you, maybe. You're just coming along to drink.
Nagakura, are you going for something other than the alcohol? He made a face I couldn't interpret and looked away. He's blushing.
Oh.
True, there are probably a lot of beautiful women in Shimabara. Someone like Harada who just went to drink was probably pretty rare. But you're going in the afternoon?
Isn't that every man's dream?
Harada didn't seem terribly concerned about the appearance of impropriety. Well, even so, I hardly think it's good to be drinking in the afternoon. Even if it was every man's dream, I still couldn't bring myself to condone it. Two of their captains drinking in the middle of the afternoon would hardly help the already low public opinion of the Shinsengumi. Then again, it's not like it was really my business to care about how people thought of the Shinsengumi.
Yeah, I see your point. It's not really proper to be screwing around so early in the day.
Yes. I did indeed find it inappropriate, but his emphasis on the qualifier worried me.
Kyoto's been really dangerous lately, though we can't exactly go have our fun at night like normal people.
True.
So to hell with how appropriate it is. Man's gotta live. We're gonna party whenever we feel like it.
Party all the time.
Party on top of the world. Party on top. Alright. Carrying on.
It didn't really seem right. But even so, on some level, his absurd logic made sense. After all, everyone needs to relax from time to time, especially if they have the worries of the Shinsengumi. And if they worked all night, then when else would they have to go but the afternoon? I was still thinking on that when Toto walked in.
Oh, Naomi! Are you coming too?
Well, I still haven't been given permission to leave the house. I don't want Hijikata to get mad at me. I shook my head and gave a little shrug. Toto's face fell for a little bit. So you're going to Shimabara too then, Toto? My voice is cutting out, sorry.
Well, yeah. Look, Naomi, you don't have to call me Toto, okay? It just feels kinda cold, you know?
Well, what should I call you then?
Just call me Hisuke. Is that how you pronounce it?
Pretend that the U isn't there.
Hisuke?
Yep.
Just call me Hisuke. Everybody else does. After all, we're gonna be living together for quite a while.
Is that really
Great.
okay? I mean, I don't want to be rude.
I've got the pretty boy hitting on me.
Already. Woo! He nodded enthusiastically. Alright then, Hisuke.
Right, there you go. So what do you say we start over? Hello, Naomi. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He gave me a short, friendly bow. Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you too, Hisuke. It wasn't anything important, I knew, but something about the exchange made me feel happy. Whether or not he'd intended to, Hisuke had cheered me up. But you're still going to Shimabara then? He opened his mouth and closed it again, unsure of what to say.
I'm not going there for the girls. I just want to hang out with the guys, you know? That's what they all say.
Oh. The rest of the men treated him like a little brother, so it was easy to forget. But Toro, Hisuke, was an adult. At any rate, I'd heard he could hold his liquor well enough. As I looked at his smile, I simply couldn't bring myself to try and stop him.
Well, maybe if you dressed up like a real woman, that'd be enough eye candy to keep us out of trouble. Oh, I got Mr. Can't Keep His Shirt Pulled Shut flirting with me too.
What?
Yeah, hell yeah! You'd be real cute! Once stuff settles down, you gotta start dressing like a girl again.
You guys, this is just so sudden. I could feel my face turning bright red. For some reason it seemed embarrassing for them to suddenly start treating me like a girl, as if they'd only just remembered. Not sure what else to do, I gave them an awkward nod, and they beamed back at me. When I get the chance, someday, alright? Hisuke almost literally jumped for joy.
That's a promise, Naomi. You'd better not forget it.
Okay. I hardly needed them to tell me to dress like a woman again, once my life had calmed down a bit. I'd only promised to do something I would certainly have done anyway, so why did I feel so embarrassed?
Look, Naomi, you've got to see our side here. We bust ass every day keeping Kyoto safe.
That's not a very convincing excuse. Even as I said it, though, I knew he was right. It was perfectly normal for boys to go have their fun in Shimabara. Besides, who was I to try and stop them from going in the first place? I certainly didn't have any authority. Going to the pleasure quarters in the broad daylight still seemed questionable to me, but if the superiors didn't mind... I was a guest of the Shinsengumi, and it would hardly be polite for me to try and tell them what to do. But even so, they had gone out of their way to talk to me until I felt better about the situation. That alone told me that they were good men, with nothing to hide.
You know, the reality is they're probably just going during this time of day. You know, It's kind of the off hours, not during rush hour time.
Right.
Maybe they can get a discount.
Do you think they have a Groupon?
Probably. Okay, the real question is, do they take check credit?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Alright. A part of me was jealous of them. I had no interest in going to Shimabara, of course, but I had no choice in the matter. I was confined to the compound. With their freedom, I could have gone to search for my father, but as it was, I could do nothing.
I'll bring you back something. What sort of food do you like?
Did he really think the city had nothing to offer me but food? Well, even if he did, I couldn't say I didn't want a little something from outside. Alright then, I'd like some tangerines. Maybe we can eat them together tomorrow afternoon. Harada gave a single short laugh and nodded.
He smirked. Soon as Hijikata gives you permission to go out, we'll take you wherever you want to go.
He certainly sounded as though he meant it, at least. Well, thank you. But Hisuke, you don't need to worry, alright? Even if you can't take me now, the intent is what matters. You cheered me up. He frowned quickly, but it was gone in a moment, and he gave me a simple nod. Then, just as they were about to finally leave... Bum bum bum!
And there. And just where do you think you're going?
Uh-oh. They've been caught.
By... the balding man.
The balding man. It's probably, he just probably cut his hair like that. It was pretty popular. We all turned as one to see Inoue walking towards us.
Damn it. Just had to begin, huh?
His voice was only loud enough for us to hear. Perhaps they did feel a bit guilty for going to Shimabara, I realized. I couldn't help but feel a little sorry for them. Well, I'm not going anywhere, but, I had no idea what else to say.
Well, you know, Gen... right, we're going to go... train! Yeah! Yeah, that's it!
Hisuke quickly warmed to his excuse, as did Nagakura.
Yeah, exactly! Like Heisuke said, I mean, it's such a nice day. The sun's out, the breeze is warm.
To me, at least, the day felt rather cold, but perhaps Nagakura wasn't as sensitive to such things. After all, he's not even, like, wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
I just decided to keep my mouth shut. I raised an eyebrow.
My goodness, you're all so diligent. We train together so rarely these days. Might I join you?
Darn it.
Busted.
He looked honestly happy, pleased with the dedication of his fellows. Good job, guys.
Oh, trip derailed. Just shock. Pure shock. Look at those faces.
Yep.
That's just like, crap. We're out of luck.
I didn't know what to say. Haruta, Hisuke, and Nagakura all looked as though they just learned of a beloved pet's death. That's an interesting way to put it. Okay.
They killed our pet hamster! He was the mascot!
No!
Not the mascot!
I'm sorry. To not somehow acknowledge what had just happened seemed wrong somehow. I had to say something. It was that moment that Hisuke spoke up.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I really wanted to go train with you guys, but I just remembered I had plans for today.
He's bailing on his buddies. Plans?
See, I already promised Naomi that I'd give her a tour of our headquarters, right?
It was news to me. Still, when he looked at me with eyes like those of a sad puppy, I had no choice but to go along. Yes, that's right. Yes. His eyes sparkled and he grabbed a hold of my hand and began to walk off. Hisuke had cheered me up earlier after all. Perhaps this way I'd be able to pay him back for that.
Hold on there, Hisuke. You really think you can...
Before he could even finish, Haruta interrupted, a mischievous grin on his face.
I'd better come too, Naomi. Make sure none of the guys give you any trouble.
They're just totally ditching Shinpachi. Well, okay, but...
Poor old guy. I see. Well, Haruta does have a point. I'll leave her in your care then. Alright, Shinpachi. Shall we go? Thrown under the bus. I expected this from Hisuke, but you, Sano? I thought you were better than that.
His knuckles had gone white and he positively shook with anger.
Time to go.
Bye, Shinpachi. Have fun. What?
Shin's got a bit of a short temper.
Hisuke grabbed my hand and Haruta pushed me from behind, and soon we were moving away from the entrance at a rapid clip.
Dodged a bullet. Barely.
I could still hear Nagakura yelling, but the two men with me had begun to laugh, their eyes sparkling with mirth. It was infectious, and I quickly found myself laughing along with them. Nagakura, on the other hand, had little cause for levity. I heard later that he and Inoue spent the rest of the day training, just the two of them. Nagakura's mouth was always in motion, and plenty that came out of it was none too nice, but underneath that all was a good man.
Change of music.
I watched shadows drift up my wall as the orange light of the sun painted my room the color of autumn leaves. How long am I going to do this? Solitude was proving detrimental to any sort of continued optimism. All my thoughts eventually turned dark and hopeless. It was depressing, but most of all it was frustrating. How could I let myself be discouraged so easily? Fairly easily, actually. I'd been swept up in a frightening world and I didn't understand and couldn't possibly control. I can't possibly figure out what's happening to Father if I'm stuck here. Only Hijikata can give me permission to leave, and he's gone. All I could do was wait. Lamenting things I couldn't change wouldn't improve my situation and would arguably make it worse. Still, there was at least one thing I had to be thankful for. The fact that we were out of time.
So that is it for episode 3 for us, guys. So we're gonna cut it off here, and we will see you all in the next episode.
Later!